This is another weird thing that I was thinking about.
The director unsuccessfully argued in court that the excrement was actually chocolate ice cream.
Oh yeah, you know way too much about me.
If they had cat videos, they'd probably have more horns.
Somebody listening right now is offended and turned off Scrambled Egg.
That's the hill I will die on.
I respect it.
That escalated quickly, though.
By the way, it's called Scrambled YEGs.
Because I'm pretty much an average-sized human, but you guys are sort of like average times 1.3.
Yeah.
So I look small in this way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We're top
true.
large. What do you
Yeah.
mean, like 6 foot 190-ish?
I'm six foot, like 200-ish.
Ooh, a little chunk on you, eh?
Little chunk, baby.
Yeah.
More cushion for the holy shit. Look at that guy.
Look at that. Just a tire.
Just a big old fucking a big old winter bod.
No, totally.
Winter
Yeah.
bod.
You pretty much need it here. Honestly.
do.
I've put on some myself as well. So, what I can say for sure is Alex will not survive the winter, but we've got it covered.
Alex isn't going to survive the winter, but that's because
of
he's a
poverty.
That's no fact.
Yeah, it's back.
I don't
We're in
know. I was just
soft
saying that.
November now.
I don't know. I think he drinks a normal amount. For like a modern day binge drinker like myself.
Yeah, modern day.
That used to drive me crazy. I would drive my friends most of the time, and then one weekend I would like cut loose, and my parents would be like, "You're a binge drinker." I was like, "Okay, well I'll just drink all the time then."
You're like, fine, I'll have 6 a day
Yeah.
instead of 20 once.
Great. Yeah, no, but I'm great at it. I don't have 20 every time. And it's just it develops an issue.
It does when it starts to become a normal thing.
You're like, oh, you're binge drinking. No, I'm being good.
Well, that's the thing is, it's like, how many people do you guys know that drink less than sort of maybe 5 drinks in a night?
Oh man, I don't know.
Is
I don't
there-
know too many wusses.
Yeah.
If you're going drinking, that's the thing. I know a bunch of dudes, because comedy, you like get a free beer when you go to shows,
Yeah.
and comedians are
One of the perks, as we say,
yeah, you get to do an unpaid spot. You get to go.
and you might get a drink out of it.
Yeah, you get to go.
If Dino's spent
Or it'll be a $7 beer. Thanks.
Yeah. So anyway, so you get so the answer to your question. Anyway, Jim's angry tonight. He's riled up in this podcast. That's usually me over there being
That's
like, "Yeah, we
true.
don't get shit."
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Freaky Friday over here.
Yeah, did you have a big bar tab just before this? You were thinking about it
No,
still?
no. I'm numb to the $9 beer.
Fucking $7
beer, isn't there? I went to an Oilers game recently.
Oh
and I was
my
like,
god.
Okay.
Yeah, what are beers at Roger's place going for?
$12,
$12.
baby.
Dude, I got a Heineken. It was $12.50.
Woo! Take that. Drop that 50 cents on there for the
a
green
tall
bottle.
can of Heineken.
Dude, yeah, don't they have like Caesars in a can or something too?
I think so.
No, there was
Did
a
they
real
not?
Caesar. No, like
Oh, was it the
yeah,
Captain Spice? Do
my-
they have those in the can? Is the Captain Spice?
probably.
They might
Colas
swap
or
it out
whatever?
too. I'm not
Fucking
sure.
Captain Spice Cola.
They had something else in like a tall can that I'd never seen before, and I was like, "What is that about?"
And how are you gonna charge that?
It is outrageous. I honestly I went pretty much right as they opened up with
Yeah.
Noah. So Noah Bronson, one of the
Yeah.
guys that works
Do
the
you like
concert center.
sports?
You know, more or less. I like looking at them sometimes. It's pretty impressive.
More or less.
I mean, it was pretty impressive the first time that I actually saw a hockey player just send another hockey player flying off his skates from no motion to just 10 feet away. And so, that's pretty impressive whether or not you care about the sport. I feel like just the physical aspect of this 250-pound man just sent that 250-pound man that way.
Dude, that's what I respect about the WWE.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, this is obviously fake fighting and it's all hilarious, but like, yo, this is a 280-pound dude doing a front flip off the top ropes. That's wild.
I guess just this week, one of the like NXT shows, like the UK version,
Yeah.
somehow an unlisted YouTube video of like the rehearsal that was obviously for internal use showed up on someone's autoplay list, and so it's one of the very rare times you see wrestlers like going through the motions, like actually doing something like, okay, I'll grab your hair at this point and I'll pull you up. And I was reading an article about how rare for real that actual type of footage is, because they have such a grip on it.
Yeah.
The WWE is China of like
Oh yeah.
what's behind the scenes.
But it was really,
Yeah.
it was interesting to see, like, because the place that I saw it, they would show you the rehearsal clip and the clip in real time
Oh yeah.
with the guy running the whole thing with his commentary over it, like, no, come on, no, bring the bell, come on.
He just develops a lisp and he's in like a turtleneck sweater behind the scenes.
I guess that all of that is like very rare.
Yeah.
Like very like Honus
Yeah, I've
Wagner
never even
baseball
heard
card
of that
rare.
before.
No.
Ever being
Yeah.
That's like one of the only things you can't find on the internet.
You know, as actually, yeah,
There's something to say about that.
now they say it like oh, wrestling's fake. Well, how come I've never seen a rehearsal?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fucking pretty good rebuttal. I just thought of that. If I was a big wrestling guy, someone said,
I'm sure there's someone right now at home listening to this podcast who went to YouTube, went WWF rehearsal, and is just watching a video.
No,
These
man.
guys are fucking
These
idiots.
idiots.
No, dude.
There's 3 of these here.
honest to God, it was a big story this week that one got out.
Crazy.
And I guess back in the day, sometimes people's satellites used to pick up like the live feed
Oh really?
of the thing so they could hear all the back chatter.
Yeah.
So like the VHS of that was worth a lot of money.
I see.
You know, like they have that much of a grip on it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's
It's crazy. Here, Alex is checking it out. Just
Well,
watch. He's got fucking 15 rehearsal videos.
That's
Yeah,
one of
there's
their products,
WWE
right?
rehearsals. Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin leaked the video from 2 months ago.
Yeah.
From 2 months ago. Well, that means it's fucking 10, 15 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's sort of just like them losing their content, right? Because like that's their whole thing.
I never thought of the fact that everyone says it's fake, which we all know it is, but there's not like extensive footage of the guys going through the moves and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I always thought like, yeah, it's fake, and they just kind of like figure it out, and then they sort of, but
Yeah, it's
It's
like
like-
choreographed.
Yeah, it is,
and
yeah.
it's
real.
you
Yeah.
never really see it.
Even, right down to like and listen, if this guy comes, like all of that stuff, there's someone in their ear being like, alright.
Yeah. And there's a degree of riffing and
For
stuff
sure.
associated with it, but yeah, no, for the most part, it's incredibly intricate, right? And it's like I can't even imagine how many times these guys practice this stuff.
You look at them and like the amount of effort that it takes to like, take steroids and cheat your way to looking great in a Speedo and knee pads. Because I'll be honest,
Bro, the costumes are hilarious.
I'll be honest, a Speedo and knee pads, tough one to pull off.
Me and my buddy were talking about that. It was on TV.
Think about it.
It's true.
Man, I was at the gym with a buddy and pro wrestling was like on one of the TVs and there was these guys wearing like pink and yellow like armbands
Yeah,
with, like, frillies on.
with the tassels.
Yeah,
baby.
those guys. And I was
That's how you know he's tough.
like, dude, I was looking
He's
at it, I was
got the
like,
tassel.
I can't believe that I ever believed that
Oh,
this
man.
was real. Like, how did I not look at these costumes and be like, obviously this guy isn't in public.
Yeah.
Like, no one dresses this way in the real world.
When I was a kid watching wrestling, I believed it. Right? Like
Right.
I mean, I knew I was Canadian, but when I heard "I am a real American," like that was Hulk Hogan's like patriotic. I was a Hulkamaniac. I'm okay to admit it. That was before there was like a sex video, and then you see his like a tan line on his butt or something. Like
You're so defensive.
Or something. Pretend you.
well, no, but my thing is though, like growing up and realizing that these
No
dudes.
one's attacked him. He's so defensive.
No,
About
but
this Hulk, he's like, I'm a Hulkamaniac. I like it.
yeah, man,
okay.
being a
Nice of you.
Hulkamaniac back in the day was fucking whew. But then you grow up and you realize that while I was thinking all that, like, yeah, I'm about it. This guy was tripped the fuck out on painkillers, cocaine, fucking everything,
Yeah.
and was just a complete dirtbag.
Yeah.
Like, not just all of them.
Yeah.
These guys are on the road constantly,
And hockey players and football players.
No, but I feel like wrestlers and painkillers.
Oh,
and shit,
yeah,
like
that's the one.
200-300 days a year, and you're like, oh my god, when I was
Have
a
you seen
kid,
that documentary?
yeah, and you just go, god damn.
Have you seen that documentary?
No.
There's like a documentary on Netflix, and it's like from the perspective, I forget who it is, but it's like the brother of this ex-pro wrestler who like ended up committing suicide because of his like horrific painkiller addiction. that he got from just like being in the WWE. And apparently his job in the WWE, there's like guys that they need that they're like, oh yeah, when a new up and comer needs to like get wins to work their way up, they just like beat you up basically.
Jobbers, man.
He had like one win. He had like 17 aired fights and one win or some shit like that.
You'll see that in boxing too. They'll have just like journeymen who they'll put new guys up against so they can beat a guy who's got some fights.
Yeah.
And then, back to when I was a kid and I loved wrestling. I had I was at like when I was like 10 or something. I was at one of the shows and we were up in the nosebleeds or whatever. And the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, a bit of a villain at the time. He came out. I got up on my chair and I said the most harsh insult I could think of. My dad always tells the story. I was like, Ted DiBiase, you're scum. And I was like, from the depths of my kid's soul, was just like, I'm a diss this guy.
Yeah.
All these years later, find out he's fucking strung out on painkillers and shit. He didn't hear me.
Although I was right.
Yeah,
the record.
Exactly.
He is scum.
I was a good judge of character then. Good judge of character now.
Dude, I'm sure you've seen this. You love the internet. You're a Gen Z.
You love the internet.
What are you, a Gen?
I think it is Gen Z or
Z?
Z or whatever.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know. Have you heard the interview where Hulk Hogan, like in court, says that Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch penis, but the man, like his real actual
Terry
name,
Bollea
Terry
or something?
Bollea or
Bollea,
Yeah. Right, he's like does not have a 10-inch penis. He's like admitted in court.
And he's speaking like the third person.
That's what, like that's the trial where there was like I think it was like a sex tape thing.
Yeah, dude.
Where there was
He was suing because his sex tape got out.
he had a thong like tan line, and it was like, oh man, on top of everything else, like, come on, Terry.
Why don't you just go naked?
Yeah, come on, Terry. I'm not gonna call you Hulk now that I know you got a fucking thong tan line, dude. I'm not gonna call you Hulk,
Terry.
You're Terry, brother.
That's one of my favorite deep internet things. What do you love the deep internet?
Oh, there's some deep internet stuff. Yeah, I mean, not even necessarily that deep. I don't know. Have you guys seen? This is interesting. Have you guys seen anything to do with Venezuela in RuneScape? Do you know anything about this? This is weird.
Okay, no, but I do know about Venezuela. But hold on, I want a little background. Are you nerd? Like, sorry, this can be mean. Are you nerdy for like your age, or is like, because here's the thing. I feel like I'm old now, but my dad and like all of his friends think that I'm like really good with technology. I'm like, no, just everyone my age knows how to do this.
Right.
So, am I just an old man, or are you like good with technology even for like your peers?
I think I'm definitely good with technology, but also with some degree of that will be that gap.
Yeah.
I don't know what degree. I mean, because you're only a few years older than me anyway. But it's definitely
it's not that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 23.
Still funny the way that like you phrase that, and then
it's
be
like,
like, yeah, I'm actually like 2 years older than you, dude.
Dude, it's real. I guess it makes
I know exactly what you're talking about. Where people are like, oh, you're fucking a whiz kid with. And you're like, no, I just know how to email. Like I know.
Yeah, I mean, some of it, I think definitely people are just like.
Well, dude, it's like TikTok. I'm not.
TikTok's. Yeah, I'm over that. But,
okay.
Or well, I never did that. I never was interested in.
Because that's the one that makes me feel like an old man. Because if I got a TikTok and literally I was looking at them like, okay, the things that TikTok is like recommending I follow is like 16-year-olds and shit. Like, what is going on?
If I get TikTok, am I like grooming? Just by definition.
Okay.
Maybe.
So sorry. Back to the original point. You are good at technology
for the most part. Yeah, I think so. I think there's definitely like a societal change as well, where it's like nerdiness is kind of a little bit different now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm definitely a nerdy guy, and I pretty much predominantly play video games and stuff like that with my free time, or do things in some way related to video games in my free time. But I think that's kind of less nerdy now than it used to be. Like, I think a lot more people play games, and it's a lot more casual to play games. I mean, like if you look at, let's say, for example, the stereotypical idiot jock kids at like a high school level or something, they're all playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
And that's not nerdy, and that's not weird. And it's like, if you go maybe 5 years back, they would be playing like FIFA or NHL, and that would be okay.
Yeah.
And then so now, but it's gradually become more acceptable and whatnot. So I'm definitely a nerd, but what that means, I think, is different now.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I totally know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
All my friends growing up were like, "Fuck it, I'll crush you at Chell."
Yeah.
No, exactly, and it's weird now as well because we've got all the the phones and the game starts so early and everything, right? And it's like, and personal computers and whatnot. People will most of the time now have an iPad or a phone or a computer of their own at a much earlier age, so that more people are playing games and esports is getting big, so more people are seeing
esports
games.
Is crazy.
It's getting
and again, it's children. It's like 14-year-olds winning millions of dollars.
It is,
winning so much money.
It's crazy.
It is,
and being so famous.
It just with a snap of your fingers too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
wild.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere. Like with that kid who took the Fortnite tournaments. He was 16 and he got like a couple $1 million.
Yeah, it's like $4.5 million or something crazy.
Yeah, and
that is so insane.
So, anyways, the RuneScape in Venezuela thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So does this have to do with the Venezuelan crisis? That's
it
going on
absolutely
right now?
does.
Okay, so would you want to explain that first?
Yeah. So I mean, and maybe you can. To be honest, my understanding of that situation isn't super in depth, but from my understanding, their economy is absolutely failing. Their currency is worth almost nothing.
Right.
There is riots in the streets. There is potential government overthrow, all sorts of stuff like that. So it's not going too hot for Venezuela at the moment.
Yeah. No more.
Fair.
So now the way that this ties into RuneScape is so what did either of you guys know about RuneScape, first of all? Do you know anything
I know
about this
nothing.
game? Okay.
I don't know anything either. I know
Okay.
you don't mine gold.
So it's a game?
So it's a game. So it's an MMO.
That's probably the best thing.
Yeah, we'll start
How much
there.
do you know about it? So it's a game, is it?
Yeah.
There's a sword that's kind of pixelated.
I feel like I should have
that.
glasses on the tail. So tell me a little bit more about
Tell
this
me
game,
about this
RuneScape.
RuneScape thing.
We had games when I was a child.
Yeah. Well, and actually this game is really old too. So it's like
RuneScape,
Yes,
when
yeah.
I was in elementary school, my friends were playing RuneScape.
Really?
Yeah.
Grade 6, I think.
Oh man, I've never heard of it.
well, it
Yes, I'm the
originally
nerd.
well it came out in 1999 actually,
Damn,
and
I
so
wasn't even
then
born yet.
yeah, and it was um,
Just
so
13.
it was 99, and then it kind of progressed, and then that was classic, and then classic split off. So there's a new one, and now it's called RuneScape 3. So
What is it?
So it's essentially it's an MMO RPG, so massively multiplayer online role playing game.
Okay.
So there's tons of different people. It is a pretty much open world, but with some restrictions.
Sure.
Like there's no jumping or anything, and all you do is you just use the left and the right click. That's it. You can type to other people, but you'll click on some object to do an action. Whether it's attacking an enemy or mining a rock or whatever. And there's all these different skills, and there's all these different players and whatnot, and all these different items. And so because there's items and because there's a market in the game. What inevitably happens with MMOs is real world trading.
Right.
So
Right.
basically how that works is, say I work a full-time job and don't have time to grind gold, but I still want to play the game and level up my skills, I'm just going to buy it from somebody. And it's not technically allowed, but it's very hard to detect. Or say I'm a younger person and I have access to my parents' credit card or whatever it may be. So it just
In-app purchases, baby. That's the 2019 parlance of that.
Totally, and in some ways, this was one of the things that was kind of on the cutting edge of the beginning of the microtransactions in games like that.
Yeah, that's what it makes me think of, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. And so anyway, the way that this actually ties into to Venezuela is that per piece, so for one Venezuelan currency, one RuneScape GP, RuneScape's currency is actually worth more on the global market. So I know that sounds crazy, but what that means is that there is actually people in Venezuela whose full-time job is playing RuneScape to farm gold as efficiently as they can, and it is more profitable and a safer job
than working for
them working there because
God.
so they can get paid in US dollars, Canadian currency, euros, whatever they want.
They
Right?
just
They
sell
can
the
just sell it
PayPal
online.
account.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that currency is fine to use in their country. In fact, it's worth a lot more.
Is that similar to mining Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, I guess
My
in
ignorance.
concept.
Yeah,
In concept.
Yeah.
In concept is what I meant.
Yeah, I don't see
Where
that.
you're sort of you're making money by
Doing
whatever the
internet,
fuck it is.
internet,
Doing internet. Yeah.
yeah.
I just watched a documentary today on Netflix about the internet, and they were talking about in China there's like video game cafes where kids will play like in fucking diapers to like not miss out on like gameplay, and some of them are just like doing it basically as a job to sell their in-game items online, so they sit and just like play video, like they just fucking play World of Warcraft all day, whatever, get a sword, sell the sword, go fucking do the next mission, get the thing, sell the thing.
Oh, wow.
Like start a new character, do it all over again.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, and Chinese gold farming, which is in World of Warcraft, has actually been around ages. What's really weird about Chinese gold farming with World of Warcraft is they used to actually have prisoners do it. That was actually a thing that occurred. I don't know how widespread that was.
Genius! That's smart as hell! Fuck that! That's a way better use than making license plates. America,
you like to play video games in jail?
Yeah.
Dude, how about that? They get recreation time, go play video games, and then at the end of the day, you sell all their characters' shit.
Yeah.
All these have to start all over again.
All these dudes coming out of jail, not swole, just like fucking...
Just with arthritis.
Is he bulimic? No, he was a Chinese gold farmer.
Dude, why not? I'm all about rehabilitation anyways. Give him a comfy bed and a computer, let him play a video game. When he gets out of jail, you're going to sell all of his shit. That's the way to take back the economy.
That's fucked
Suck
up.
that, China. We're going to pay back our debt, baby. Let's go!
That's fucked up.
Yeah, well, it's the way it's been going, but so with
Like smart, but fucked up.
no, exactly. But so it gets
Alex, fucking profit, baby.
The warden of the new Canada prison. Fucking pick up the sticks,
Give
baby.
him weed, too. Fucking give him weed.
Dude, they get so good at it.
Yeah, make him farm weed.
Actually,
you can keep
make
half
him
and
farm
sell
weed.
the half, the other half.
It'll make the food palatable.
Yeah, it'll make the video games more fun. They'll get the higher level
The
characters.
jails will make more out of the commissary.
We'll take the
They'll be
weed
buying more
that's been
food.
picked and we'll sell it, and they get to keep half for themselves to smoke.
Yeah.
They could probably cut back on guards.
Handcuffs and controllers.
Yeah,
That's all they need.
Have them in police vans.
I bet they'd way rather be doing that.
Fucking play, bud.
Go pick somebody up to go to the drunk tank. You're actually just driving them around the block a couple times.
Bud, you more like a Chell guy or like a WoW guy?
Listen, man, get 17 gold in this game. You can go back to the bar with your friends.
Can my buddy get 17 gold like on my behalf? Like bail? Fuck no. Wait. That'd be Actually, yeah. So you got.
Wait, no, 20. It's
And the
20.
cops says they got 4 or 5 consoles.
You
get
make
17
bail for your
goals.
buddy?
Yeah. Your buddy's out.
Holy shit, can you imagine? I mean, we're going that way.
We've probably just prophesized 100 years from now.
Oh, if even.
People are gonna watch this on like some archaic YouTube and be like,
People are watching this right now in Venezuela. that is going on now.
they're fucking mining scrambled YEGs. And it's still worth more than the Venezuelan currency.
But, so the plot actually
It's worth nothing,
thickens.
but it's worth so much more.
But so this goes even deeper with this Venezuela situation, though. So it's not just as simple as these Venezuelans are mining gold in this game and are selling it and then are making real world money off it. What has actually happened is because these people who are coming to the game usually aren't very skilled or knowledgeable at the game. They just know that they can make money in it and then sell it, right? So they're not very good at making the money. So what they do is they tend to do things that are, easy for gold generation, essentially. And what happens to be the case is in this game, there is something called the wilderness. So the way that it works is it's on this big map. And if you go into the wilderness, you can engage in player versus player combat. And in this game, if another player kills you, they take your stuff. So now there's a little bit of a rule to this. So basically, like if say us three are playing and I attack Alex, I will get a big skull on my head, and that means this is just called being skulled. And so then if I die now, I lose everything. If I just attack Alex and I kill him, but he doesn't hit me, he doesn't hit me first, he can fight me back. If he dies, he keeps his 3 most valuable items. So that can be a big deal because you have your inventory is 28 items, and then you can also have the stuff that you're wearing, right? So you can have like 40 items basically. So getting stones is a problem, obviously. But so what happens is in the wilderness there is green dragons, and the reason this is important is because these green dragons are very, very easy to kill and quite good profit. So the sort of game balance mechanic for this is they're good profit and they're easy to kill, but
to
good
be
luck
willing.
with all these other people who are going to try to kill you for your shit.
Right.
So,
Man.
so what does that mean? Well, a huge majority of these Venezuelans are killing green dragons. And so people started to catch on to the fact that this was happening in mass and that these people were unskilled players. And they started coordinating groups to hunt Venezuelans in the wilderness to get their
Steal
stuff.
money?
Because it was such an easy way to get money. Yes.
On a video game.
They even got...
To steal their green dragon.
Isn't that insane?
Oh my god! And the most insane part about that is it's a real world thing.
And it even got so sophisticated that they started to figure out servers, which is they're
Do you
called
know
worlds.
how fucked up that is to be
It
doing?
is, yeah.
Yo, literally, okay, this is, so when I
If
was...
it happened in real life, it would be big news.
Dude, when I was in South America, because Colombia is the closest country to Venezuela, there's literally like hordes of Venezuelans who like left in mass exodus from the country of Venezuela because like their economy is so fucked that they're like, we don't even have
Real
food in
shit.
grocery stores, like the water isn't clean, like so they're literally just walking to the closest other country to beg for food. Is how bad it is, and these guys are fucking hunting them down in the forest for their green dragon gold.
That's exactly what they're doing.
In a video game.
Yeah, and it's even gotten
That's so fucked.
It is. It's horrible, and it's even gotten so sophisticated that people started to realize, okay, well, they're geographically, obviously, in Venezuela, so they're more prone to be on these certain servers that are close to them. So what we do is we go to these, say, 10 worlds, and we have a group of people, and we just do laps around the areas on these worlds looking for them. And so then so there's whole like clan chats and guilds and discords and Skypes for specifically hunting Venezuelans.
Oh,
because it's so profitable. It's crazy.
Well, it's pretty profitable.
This is literally robbing people. It's robbing Venezuelans.
Yeah.
It's got so many layers. It's kind of racist.
It's
robbery.
They're making clans. That's
racist.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange one, and I mean this is happening now in Chile as well, I believe. I think
Is
that's
this just New World?
Yeah, 2019 is
like
wild.
honestly, when we talk about this, it sounds so crazy, but it's a thing that's happening and has been happening.
Yeah.
Is this just new sort of like? Is this like a new world oppression?
Maybe
In a way,
yeah.
Or no?
People have been using the internet to steal money from the poor forever, though.
Oh yeah.
It's
Totally.
like, dude, one of my cousins got arrested.
People have been using the shopping channel to steal money from the poor.
Yeah. It's like, but like, this is one of my cousins got arrested for like scamming old people with emails, like fake emails.
Yeah.
And it's like,
dude, you're Nigerian?
I was wondering about you saying you were a prince.
Yeah. I want that money back, bro.
You sent him some too.
Yeah. Well, he said he needed it, and he would give me something in return.
In 2020, right? I'm still waiting. Is that not
Yeah. Well, it's gone.
2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
My funds are tied up
It's November 2019.
in the Nigerian bank system.
The good old Nigerian.
You know, I'm starting to wonder about this Alex guy. It doesn't sound Nigerian.
No.
He's a fake Nigerian prince.
A double fake Nigerian prince.
That is.
It's a double negative.
That's
Maybe that makes me a
sort of
Nigerian
blackface.
prince.
That's black profile
It's true.
pic. That's black profile pic.
Black profile pic.
Which is the new blackface.
It is. Is it? Is that the new blackface?
I don't have a black profile pic.
Yeah, you do now, man. Because you're a fake Nigerian prince. In this joke.
I don't want people thinking
that we're still on.
there was no part of this bit where I was black. I don't think.
Well, but yeah, I mean, in terms of this being like a new world thing, I mean, I think to some degree, right? Like it's always been the case that as the internet's become bigger, right, that people find ways to make money on it, and
Totally.
And if you're in a impoverished country in some way, then just time in equals more money out, right? And it's more flexible. So I mean, to some degree, totally. And I mean, you can see this with World of Warcraft and RuneScape currently. Their markets are booming. Like there's the kind of money that's associated with these things is just increasing. And if another big successful MMO hits the market, like recently we saw with classic World of Warcraft, right? That's one of the big reasons that it's worth so much now in terms of how much the gold is worth and whatnot, because there's so many people playing, right?
So these economies will look different than the country's economies.
Yeah, well, because World of Warcraft is not, or these games aren't necessarily affiliated with a country.
No, for sure, but all of these people making money in Venezuela, for example.
Yeah.
While the economy is tanking, but online these gold miners.
Yeah, it's going through the roof.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like an equilibrium is maintained, right? Like it goes up somewhere and down somewhere else. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that's going to continue to some degree, right? And I mean, God knows what happens.
You were talking about classic World of Warcraft.
Yeah. So with classic WoW getting bigger and whatnot, right? There's just more opportunity for these types of things to occur. And like we were saying with Chinese gold farmers, this has been happening for a long time, and MMOs are getting bigger. More people are playing them. There's more of them. Microtransactions are a bigger thing now, so it's kind of like more societally and otherwise accepted to pay money for a video game.
Totally.
So those kinds of purchases are just more common.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like it's going to continue.
Those massive foreshadowing of like the current state of the like in-app purchase, where it's like a child is like, I'm on my mom's iPad, like boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. No, totally.
I didn't realize that prior to that there was this essentially shadow industry.
Yeah,
I guess.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's been around for a long time. It's been around at least as long as I've been around computers and whatnot. Right?
Yeah,
it's just.
I know. I didn't know like to that extent, but I know that like the big thing when I was in high school was World of Warcraft. People were buying like equipment from other people online.
Yeah.
But isn't it weird because you can't just like hand someone like you can't. Like, you know what I mean? You have to walk up to their character and like swap. You have to set up like a meeting place for your characters.
So exactly no. So this
so you have to do like
well, that's the thing is how do you avoid detection? And they become very clever at this. So.
Well, how do you make sure you get paid?
How do you avoid getting scammed? But also detection. I didn't. So wait, detection.
Yeah.
There's people watching to see if you're.
Well, so say for example, because
that's a whole other level.
Well,
wait, what do you mean?
I mean, if the game
cops.
Well, if the game devs, so the developers, if they see something very strange, like say some enormous amount of in-game currency being traded to somebody for nothing, maybe they get suspicious. So what do? They make use of the mechanics in the game to make it look unintended. So they do things like they go to a stake area. So this is actually something that's being cracked down on at the moment, which is the duel arena.
Why?
Well, because what I do is I will. So say you've bought all this gold.
Yeah.
You bought all this online. I have to go give you the gold. If I go and trade you the gold, there's a good chance that you'll be caught. So what do? I challenge you to a duel in the duel arena, and we put up that amount of money as a stake, and I intentionally lose, but I do it in a way that doesn't seem
you're throwing a fight.
Yeah.
You're throwing a fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And it gets way
for like how much money are we talking here?
Oh, well, okay, so say for example in the duel arena, right? We're talking billions of GP, so gold pieces, which is tens of thousands of US dollars. So it's ridiculous.
But guys
right?
actually gamble that because people are lunatics, right?
Well, that's what's happening on the currently with the arena shutdown is that it's actually become a real world gambling site where people will buy the currency with real money and they'll gamble it in the game. It's just another way for someone to gamble. So that's why it's actually getting shut down at the minute. The arena stuff is being cracked down. But like so something.
But you're never going to prevent that. Like.
No, exactly. You're not. That's the thing.
Unless you make sure there's no money in the game, but then you can't make any money.
Exactly.
So what happens if it's not a believable loss or whatever?
Well, so this is what you do. So we get to way more depth than this. That's just one like simple example. What the types of things that these people will do is they will have multiple layers of throwaway accounts. So they'll have accounts that have been designed specifically for the purpose. From a hidden IP or an IP that's not actually theirs, just facilitating these trains. So there's a number of ways that they'll do it. They can do it in segments. You can drop items, like in RuneScape specifically, you can drop items, leave them somewhere.
Right.
You can do the party room. So that's again like you put the money in and it gets distributed and dropped around the room. So if just one person happens to be there because it's a dead world in the middle of the night, nobody gets caught. You can do things like you could buy all items that technically in the game have worth, but in terms of the game's market, they're actually useless. So you just purchase a shitload of that and then just trade it to the person so they're actually paying for what is technically the amount of worth that it should be, but in terms of its market value is nothing. So yeah, this is really in-depth stuff that people actually do, like all the time. There is
What happens if you get caught?
Well, so real world trading is against their terms of service, so you would get banned, and the gold could get deleted. And in some rare cases, they could theoretically pursue legal action, but there hasn't actually been a case of that yet, to my knowledge, that's actually occurred.
Wow.
But
Well, because losing all your gold is already a huge fine.
it's true. Yeah, I mean,
That's like a $26,000 fine.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and this is before you even consider the fact that these economies are plagued by bots, and that bots are doing this stuff as well, right?
Right.
So.
Hi, this is Sarah from the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Can I count on your vote?
Yeah.
Why do you have a dude's voice?
And instead it just
Fuck you, Sarah.
yeah. But
Is that a yes?
reply back yes. But so yeah, there's all these bots, and so I mean in a lot of these instances there's people who will have like say 30 bot accounts, and they don't need to be very sophisticated because of the fact that RuneScape launched its mobile app. Imagine this.
Jesus.
If you're playing this game, which is just clicking on a phone, how could somebody differentiate me tapping on my phone randomly to a computer program doing that? And it's almost undetectable. So it's something like 99.99% success rate on these bots right now, where nobody's getting caught.
Oh.
Yeah, and these people are making, a lot of them are making there's a guy on YouTube who does sort of investigation, so to speak, on this stuff, and he speaks to people who run these bot farms, and a lot of them are reporting things like $5,000 to $7,000 U.S. cash per month that they're making just from running 30 bots. Like that's all they do. They don't have to touch them. They literally just are making.
They just have them going.
They're just making.
They're just paying the power
Exactly.
bill.
That's what the bots are. They're an automated system. That's
They
what
just
they're
set up
doing.
the computer and pay the power bill.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're making $5,000 to $7,000. Like, and what a lot of these people are doing as well, the clever ones, is
Right, this
they're
sounds...
building more. Right? They're getting
Yeah,
more
I was
bots.
gonna say,
Yeah,
how
keep-
long until you have
Yeah.
server farms of
That's
this
what
thing,
exists.
right?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge issue in that community and in the World of Warcraft one as well. It's a little bit harder in WoW because the game's a little bit more complex. But
Right.
But why is it against the rules there? But that's what people are doing with Bitcoin, and everyone's like, Bitcoin's gonna be worth more than real money soon.
I
It's like, no, they're just making server farms to farm it. Like,
To me, it seems very similar.
It's the identical
I'm
concept,
earlier
absolutely,
thinking
yeah.
like, wow, this sounds a lot like if Bitcoin was a game.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. It's a game versus a currency. That's what it is. It's Bitcoin is an internet currency versus just farming something in a game and selling it to a
Like
person.
if you had to beat a boss to get
to get a Bitcoin, the boss gets harder and harder.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this guy spits fireballs.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna
No,
do.
he's got
I'll
two
just
fireballs.
rhythmically jump over them as he spits them, and then I get 2 Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, that
But
would-
instead, it's just like I don't know what a server farm does. Just
yeah, and server farms are crazy
There's
for
a lot of
Bitcoin.
fans.
There
a
is.
lot of
Big
fans.
Did you guys know this is maybe something you guys wouldn't have heard about is with the Bitcoin.
Based on a tabor, I'm in Bitcoin, but it's a corn-based currency.
That's gonna be Wexit's currency.
Wexit to Bitcoin.
Oil, coke, and corn.
Oh my god.
Corn.
But
Holy fuck.
alright, I'm gonna be more careful from now. Saying Bitcoin. But so what actually happened, and this is pretty cool in terms of its like real world market impacts, is because Bitcoin was worth so much. Kind of a simple understanding of how Bitcoin functions, which is all I have anyway, is basically you run a very complicated, long, intensive computer algorithm, and it generates one of these unique Bitcoins, right? So it takes a long time and it takes a lot of processing power. So what started happening a couple of years ago, literally a couple of years ago, so about 2 years ago now, is people started to realize that the thing that was sort of bottlenecking their ability to produce more of these more quickly was graphics cards. So graphics cards for computers are one of the main things that is required to have a lot of, basically, to generate these things. So what happened? Well, these people who were farming the Bitcoins were reinvesting and purchasing graphics cards. So what ended up happening is that we're still feeling these impacts. Is that because of the fact that these people were purchasing all of the graphics cards, the demand was incredible and the supply dropped through the floor, and the prices spiked.
Skyrocket.
Yeah, so it's
Plus
actually
the stocks in whatever company had them probably
And-
went through the fucking roof.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
took a huge dip because no one could get any of their shit.
yeah, and then all the people at the top shorted their stocks right as that happened, and then now there's one guy goes to jail for it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so that's a massive thing that's been happening as well. So I mean,
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Epstein. Have you seen that? There's some beer company.
And is a pedophile.
Yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah, they put
Put
that
it on
the
the
beer
can,
cans.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the best.
It's not like he's around to sue him. So
Wow,
what's gonna happen?
So anyways, what were you...
So the GPUs graphics card, same thing. They basically the whole market got sucked dry, and so then you had all these people that are like, I want to build a computer. Hang on a second, that one component's $1,200 and it was $200 a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not much of a jump, eh?
Oh, massive! Yeah, maybe not quite 200 to 1,200, but similar to that, like sort of.
In that range. Wow.
Yeah, ridiculous. So, and it's starting to come back the other way because what's kind of happened now is Bitcoin's value was dropped a lot in that time as well. So like Bitcoin peaked at about $26,000 a piece. Well, 26,000 Canadian, but it's about 3,000 Canadian right now, I believe. So it's considerably less
Can you
worthwhile.
imagine buying at like 24,000?
Yeah, that would be insane.
People did.
They did. Oh yeah.
Like, this is gonna hit 50.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like cents.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. People definitely have done that.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
harsh.
Yeah, and
That's the game, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so who knows? Maybe maybe RuneScape Gold's gonna go through the fucking ground, and then suddenly all the people farming Venezuelans.
But that's currency, right? That's what Venezuela as a country is going through.
Yeah,
Or all of a sudden the currency's worth nothing, as you were saying earlier.
Exactly.
So that would be just a double shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
they
yeah.
like
Please.
found a safe haven.
No,
there.
Stop hunting Venezuelans.
The Venezuelans can't take it. Yeah. It's
worth it.
There's some really dark humor YouTube videos of people like going around the wilderness one-shotting Venezuelans, and there's like hit markers on the screen and stuff, and then it's like it's pretty dark, and then it's like
It's a whole other side of the world that I
is.
wasn't aware of.
And
when I say other side of the world, it sounds like a huge,
like a large section of the world. Yeah, it's weird.
There's a very large community of fucked up people on the internet, man.
Oh yeah.
I used to think I was one of them. It turns out I'm a volunteer. Fucking
Well, I think
it's bullshit.
It might be that generation gap again. I think we're just worse.
It's
Yeah, when you grow up,
there's a fucked up wage gap there. I'm making $1,000,000% less than these dudes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just as fucked up as them.
But you definitely have to go through all the same suffering. You got less out of it.
God damn.
Yeah.
They just got scarred by pornography, and these guys are making thousands of dollars.
yeah, but they got scarred by pornography just way earlier than you did.
That's true.
Because they just had the internet since birth.
Yeah.
You only had it at like 11.
No, that's a good point, and I feel like that's made me a better person, a gooder person. It makes me feel like people that are born today are gonna have the weirdest. Will they even be kinks as we know them today? Probably not.
God knows. Yeah, that's
The first thing you see is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, that's legitimately kind of the situation.
Sure, in trouble.
Right?
Well, I mean, that kind of already is what happens.
Yeah.
The first thing you ever see is the inside of your mom's pussy. So
That was a C-section, so I guess that's just you, bro.
Explains why you're such a nice person now. You have all the trauma.
Oh my god.
So the internet.
The internet's a thing. Yeah, I think there is definitely something to be said about that, where we're just seeing like sort of fucked up stuff or whatever. Like, I mean, I definitely faced a period of time where I was kind of like desensitized to everything. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like gore and all that kind of stuff. Just absolutely.
They show people being murdered on the news today. We've talked about this in previous podcast how messed up that is, but it has changed from like like, we're not going to show you this, to
Yeah.
like, oh, viewer discretion is advised, to
Yeah.
like, yeah, here's a school shooting. You're like, I'm not affected by that.
Yeah.
I don't know how good that is.
Yeah, I mean, that's
No,
really-
but it's great. And then you bring the internet into it, and you go, I don't even want to know what might be out there.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, there's websites that are just for it. Like there was this one. I think it's gone now, but I remember this from when I was sort of like in my early teens, because my friend's older brother would always show us it, and it was almost like a rite of passage to not be offended by the images you were seeing, and it was just gore. You know, it was just straight up
Yeah,
like people getting their
faces
heads
of
cracked
death
open or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I saw that stuff when I was like in my super early teens. It's like
That's
just
insane.
literally nothing faces me on a video.
Yeah.
I mean, like in terms of just
Right.
an image, you know. But like,
I guess that's what people are like, oh, video games fuck kids up. It's like the world.
Yeah,
The
no, it's-
internet fucks kids up. Video games are just like, video games are like therapy for the
they're your
fucked
brief
up.
distraction
It's
from
the
that. Yeah.
fucked- it's the therapy for the fucked up that the internet gives.
Yeah.
If I'm busy hunting
Do you know
Venezuelans, I can't. Watch
Do you know what's weird though? Here's the thing. This is the weird, like, counterpoint that I kind of have, is that I think that kind of plays into why they're so sensitive about real life shit, is because they've been so desensitized on the internet. They're so
Yeah.
used to having no consequence and like death isn't real. It's just an
Yeah.
image on the fucking thing.
Totally.
So when violence or death or like something like even sex like happens,
An emotion, an emotion rising thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa. wait,
happens
what?
like for real, and you're like
I can't
part of
just
it,
go
and you're
start
in, and you're in the
and
room with it,
Yeah.
and you can't close the window, and like dude. So I remember a comedian, Jim Jeffries, talked about this with, but this is a weird parallel, and I'm sorry for this, everyone, but he talks about it with butt sex.
Okay.
And he's like, dude, you can't smell the video, so when you watch it
Oh,
online,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
when you're in real life, you're like, oh, what the? And it's like, death is kind of the same, and like pain, and like,
Yeah, you can see it and go, oh, that sucks.
but
if
when you're
you're
part of it,
even if you're
Or around
there,
it, yeah.
or you go, oh, did you hear the snap of or just a palpable tension in
Yeah,
the air?
absolutely.
And, oh,
yeah, and the noises continue, like it doesn't stop when the video's over.
yeah, the video's over, and then like you go home and think about the thing that happened that whole day, and
Yeah. So as much as I think it's
that's a really
desensitized people
interesting
to
point.
it,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
also made it, when it does happen, cause this like whole traumatic thing. Like
Yeah.
I remember getting in fights and like people like bleeding and shit, like not being that big of a deal.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And now it seems like, at least like as soon as there's like confrontation, everyone's like, shut it down. It's
Oh
like-
God, yeah, lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely I think some elements of
Which
that.
is good. I'm not
Yeah.
against that. I'm just saying it's. I think shutting violence down before it
It's
starts.
more
is good.
tense now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And it's more tense and just in a lot of different ways. Like tense, physically tense. Like if I say something and these people are offended, what's that going to do to the rest? Like there's just so many. Like everyone can be, fucked with a little bit
Yeah.
or manipulated in so many different ways by so many different subtle things.
Yeah.
Like someone saying something could generate like a physical, super emotional, like all these different reactions, different types of physical, like I'm gonna kill this guy, and like this makes me feel uncomfortable.
yeah.
But at the same, it's interesting. It's very like it creates this weird thing where like words can like actually hurt.
words,
Yeah.
words can legitimately hurt, man.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but please don't say it.
Yeah,
No, don't say it.
and I think there's definitely also been, because of the fact that everybody's got a cell phone now and stuff, right? There's a certain kind of permanence to any kind of thing that
that's
occurs,
true, yeah.
and it's also
That's a
how
really
easily
good
things
point, yeah.
spread. So it's like, if say there's a fight at a school, now the threat or concern is that there's a video of it that's instantly on 13 people's Snapchats, and then it's everywhere, so they kind of have to fight back more than they would if it was just word of mouth and stuff, you know what I mean? So
That's
there's
interesting. That's a whole other side of it. It's just that what you said about the permanence of it.
yeah, well that's it, yeah.
Oh man, if I get suckered on the playground or whatever, that might go viral and 1 million people will see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Instead of like the one guy who sucker punched me and his
Yeah.
buddy who was filming it.
Exactly, and maybe the 10 people who heard about it versus the millions of people who could look at that at any time or hear about that.
The 10 people that heard about it versus the 10 people that have now seen it. Even just
Yeah.
that at the very like small like school level or
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
where they can all go like, oh, I put it in slow motion, check it out.
And this brings up something that I think is really interesting as well, which is what are we going to do moving forward with politicians?
I've long thought about
Yeah.
when you think about the kids that have had
Dog.
to scream from the second they
Yeah.
came out, what are you gonna do? Your parents made an IG account for you off the hop.
Oh, yeah.
You are
Well,
done.
Every
son.
dumb thing you have ever said is
And-
there forever.
And the precedence, because of this precedence, is that
Yeah.
you can use because of what's been going on, is that you can use someone's online history
Yeah.
to discredit them. Like that's the
Yeah.
precedence that we
Totally.
live in.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that everyone's discreditable through their online history. I don't
Yeah.
know a single person who doesn't have a post that they're like, that would come back to haunt me.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think other than like my mom who doesn't post anything,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like anyone our age, I
Yeah.
don't think I know anyone that doesn't have a regrettable post from
Yeah.
high school somewhere.
And imagine younger, where it's starting in elementary school.
Oh
And then,
my god.
And they're on social media then, and then when you add into it.
Yossi, you're stuck.
Well,
I could have been on the internet, dude.
And
Andrew Shear is a booger eater. It's like a
And-
video of him from grade
It's
3.
the least offensive thing he does.
well, and then take it even further when you start to consider the idea of these kids that have access to all of this and that this stuff will be permanent, and then look at how they're desensitized, so they're more prone to say more serious things like "I'll kill you" or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's even worse,
I
right?
wonder if there'll ever be a case where like, actually, my mom posted that before what's the age of consent for posting? They're honestly
Maybe
like
we
it
want.
sounds like I'm ridiculing the age of consent.
I think it's like 14 on Facebook. You have to be 14 to sign up for Facebook.
Well,
But-
their
but-
privacy agreement
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
But now when it's like, oh, I've had an Instagram account for my kid since he was 2 months old,
Yeah.
and like you drop the N-word at 3.
Yeah.
You know, my mom posted that.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
yeah.
feel like it's this weird thing where like for the first like X number of years of your life,
Yeah.
someone was putting the content up,
Yeah.
and then you take over and the tone probably changes a little bit.
Yeah.
But that history is
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
It's a terrifying concept, right?
An internet search history like attached to your, because like most of us have gone from device to device, thankfully, over our lives,
Yeah.
especially younger, you throw out an old computer kind of thing. In like the iPhone age and stuff, where it's like your Apple ID and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
your
cloud and
history is
everything.
gonna
It's like I
stick.
had 3 phones without the cloud that had cameras on them, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, in probably now, you could probably look at like a 10-year-old, or well, no, you could probably look at like a someone who would have searched a bit on their own,
Mhm.
and see like essentially a lifetime of their search results.
Oh, yeah.
And all of that's somewhere online, so you can what can you do with that data?
Yeah.
Like are you sending
Yeah,
this
it's
kid
accessible.
suicide hotline stuff to be like, because I
Yeah.
know, dude. Like it makes a very weird, like a strange, like a Big Brother-esque
Exactly. Yeah.
type scenario
Well,
possible.
And it's actually it's worse than that, right? So there's this really good quote that I saw. I have still never been able to find out whose quote it actually is, but it's about Big Brother 1987, and what he says is he says that the Orwell actually got it wrong because he never anticipated that we would buy the cameras ourselves, and our biggest fear would be that nobody was watching.
Oh,
And
fuck,
it's this
that
kind
is-
of like social
Ooh,
media
that
blast,
hurts.
like
That's triggering.
Yeah.
Let's shut
Yeah.
it down. Let's.
That's where-
Hi guys,
Yeah.
are we right? Anyways, join us next week on YouTube,
Please keep
Instagram,
watching. Click and
Facebook,
subscribe.
so you
Somewhere.
can follow him and this and that and AF Community.
ComedyAF.com.
I also have a website. If you'd like to meet in person, just let us know. And
We're slaves to ourselves.
but that's That's jarring.
It is. It really is, and it's. I wonder if this will be an experience that you guys will have had in the same kind of way that I did, because when you guys were in sort of your beginning bar phase, you didn't have Snapchat, right?
No, I didn't.
No.
Well, and it was like
We had
right
Facebook.
as I entered that was when
Yeah.
Snapchat was becoming big, and there was this unbelievably jarring situation that I kind of got into where everybody's posting on their stories with like, oh my god, this is so great, I'm having such a good time. And then as soon as they're done the video, they go back to not having a good time. But then I watch their story and I feel compelled to put on that same face and fake the same thing. And it just perpetuates itself. And that's kind of what all of the social media does. But
My early bar days were before Facebook.
well, thanks.
Which is
Good for you.
I blacked out a lot.
Me too, but it's on video.
For my entire
Yeah.
Mine's just in the. Well, I guess I don't remember them, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
Deleted.
Yeah. And I mean, to some degree, it's a benefit being able
Alex
to see the
is
funny
about to
shit,
show
but-
us something fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. No, it just has to relate with what you're saying about the Snapchat and the bars where everyone's not having a good time and they post like,
man.
dude, have you seen the kid in the Maple Leafs hat with his girlfriend? They're like 13 or 14 or some shit.
I saw that.
Dude,
yeah.
Okay.
At a Leafs game
So,
like this week.
Yeah, there's like these little kids and there's like, they're like just probably like teenagers. Anyways, the girl goes to like take a selfie and the guy like looks over and smiles and then as soon as she turns to go back to editing, he just gets so grumpy. He's like, anyways, the selfie turned up.
Of course, the Leafs were mired in a 6-game losing streak at the time.
Well, he got
fired their head
yeah,
coach.
Buddy got fired. Yeah.
Woo!
Was it 6 or I think it was 7 or 8
Could've
that it
been
came up
more.
to. I think they were like, one more and we're fucking off.
Listen, by the time this episode airs, it could be 10.
God knows. Oh,
15! Who knows
Yeah.
how quickly I'll edit.
Yeah, some people are super upset about that.
But that's a really good like microcosm of life right now. Where it's like, oh, you're taking a picture?
Yeah, exactly.
And then just back to like, fuck.
And it's disproportionate, right? Like we feel like we should be happier or more entertained or something in this kind of an environment that we were never actually going to be that happy or entertained by. And now we've got like this false expectation which is unbeatable.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's a good one.
Let's see if the camera can see it.
Maybe decently.
They probably can.
Go roll up.
There you go.
Nice. But
Are we all
yeah, you
right
can see
there?
that he's pausing for the
Happy?
photo.
Oh, so
Very
angry.
unhappy. Yeah,
But
very
yeah,
unhappy.
it's like that is like reality now. Is
Yeah.
we're posting these fake emotions to the world that don't.
And it's perpetual. I think that's
Exists.
the most insidious thing about it is that you feel the need to participate in that system.
And it creates more and more
Yeah.
and more
And-
and deeper versions of it.
Yeah.
And
that unattainable happiness just gets further and further away, right? So I mean,
yeah.
Dude, and there's these weird problems that we started running into that I'm sure got even worse with Snapchat when we had like Facebook and stuff. Is you would see people like out with their friends who had told you they were doing something
Oh my
else
God,
or
yeah.
like stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Or
like,
getting tagged in someone else's picture when you were passed out on the front lawn never happened to me. But I was like, hey, can you untag me in that?
Yeah.
Is what I would have said if it was me.
yeah, you're like 17 and you're like, I lied to my mom about where I stayed that weekend. Can you please fucking untag me right now?
Like, I'm passed the fuck out. Can you not take a digital picture of that and then get it developed and then get it uploaded?
no.
Like, you know, put
It's a
that
lot of
in-
steps back then.
Yeah,
to
a lot
be fair.
more, definitely.
It's like, why'd you take all those steps?
Yeah.
To embarrass me.
Yeah, whereas like we just did like it just and then like I'm sure stuff that on Snapchat could be sexual assault for sure. Like I've
Oh
seen
my goodness.
just like horrible like dudes like even just on Instagram like dudes grinding on ugly chicks like on purpose, just like rubbing their dicks on them and stuff and
Right.
like just horrible like frat boy party memes and shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Well, with frat stuff, you're seeing more and more like anytime hazing stuff comes up, and it's always super fucked up.
Yeah.
But
the crazy thing is this was going on before and we just didn't even know
I know.
about it.
Now there's
For sure.
cameras everywhere, and people are like, "Hey, this is wrong. I can't believe." All the people from the past are like, "I can't believe they're doing that stuff now." And looking at their buddies, like looking at their pledges,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Hey, we're 60 now, but don't fucking say anything about the broomstick."
Don't say anything about Kavanaugh. You didn't fucking do it. That's what they're fucking saying, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. But now it's they're like your like cell phone records have you at the nearest cell
They
tower.
have you pinged. Yeah,
They have you there. They have your
actual geographical.
they can pick up your phone and be like, well, here's the route you drove, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's where I'm imagining you stopped off to the side to buy the Coke you snorted.
Here's the time of the Snapchat.
Yeah. Here's the e-transfer you sent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like it's great when you actually start to think about like what data is out there right
Yeah.
now. Like somebody knows
Police have
we're all
access
here
to all
right
that
now.
shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean with Snap Maps, for example, right? I can look where most of my friends are right now.
Oh,
And then,
Really?
yeah, and then you can also you can set it up so that you can just share your location at all times just through iMessage.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so I mean I don't have that done because I don't want the police to know that I'm farming Venezuelans, but
Well, at my house.
yeah, exactly. That's why I've come here. We've actually got the server farm.
But
But
storage room.
but yeah, you can see like for example, I can just I can go to my Snap Map,
Just
right?
kidding.
And I can see it's the majority of my friends have this Snap Map, right? So like I can look at this, and this is where all my different friends are,
My God.
and it's pretty accurate. And
Yeah,
it,
it's accurate to like the address.
yeah, and so I know where the majority of my friends are at all times, which is weird, right? And so, like you were saying, it can also create
What's
that
that like
awkward
in
situation.
relationships? I wonder if that's
Well,
like,
that's-
if,
yeah.
if two people that are like just kind of like, oh, we share our location, like obviously we would,
Yeah,
like because we've been, that's when I got Snapchat, that's what all my friends did,
yeah.
and then they get into their first like, I'm gonna say I'm here, I'm gonna be there.
Well, they can't, or they have to turn off their setting and come up with a good excuse for it.
Man, that's
Yeah.
just another level of fucking mystique.
Exactly.
Dude, it's craziness. And it gets like I can't imagine I can't like I've been in situations in my relationship where it was like it makes like this weird hard decision because you're like, well, I saw on the Snap Map, but like if I
Yeah.
bring it up then I'm creeping on you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I don't bring it up and you are fucking around on me, now I look like an idiot. But if I
Yeah.
do bring it up and like there's a good reason, now I'm an asshole, like overbearing.
What if you look on the Snap Map and you see your body and your
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, like shit like that.
Yeah, what do you say? Well, I mean, they
Or
have
like
to be pretty fucking dumb to make that mistake. But if they did, yeah.
like if it's just part of your like to me when I first had Snapchat, like that would be a new thing.
Yeah.
So if it's just when you first join it, that's just a thing.
Yeah.
And you go, oh yeah, we do this.
A lot of
Dude,
people don't
you
even
get
think
like
about it.
planning a surprise
Yeah.
birthday party for
You-
you, and you're like, you guys keep lying to
Ah.
me and ending up together
Yeah.
on Snap Map, and they're not like turning off their Snap Map.
You know what would be smart
Yeah,
in those
totally.
times is like, oh, this place near my house has like a charging station. I'm gonna lock it in there.
Yeah.
Go do my deed. And like, oh yeah, I was at YEG Cycle. the whole
Yeah,
time.
and I mean, what you could do as well is you could just, you go to that
Turn it
location, airplane mode, disable location services, whatever. There's ways around it for now. at
Ooh,
least, but-
shit's getting fucking.
I wonder how many
difficult it
surprise party Snap Maps is
Oh
really.
my
Like, why are all
God,
my
yeah,
friends in my
that's a
house?
really good
Point, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because what it does is it does this funny little thing where if there is two people sufficiently close to each other, they kind of like will interact with each other. So imagine like 33 fucking people just kind of you're rolling up to
They
the
all got
house.
hats, like
Yeah.
party hats on.
What the fuck is going on with my phone? Oh, all my friends are nearby. Sick! Surprise!
Yeah, exactly. That's
I should have done this on the online environment. I don't really like that.
Yeah, we should have the party in a while.
Alright, let's kill some Venezuelans.
Yeah, you trick. That's how you surprise them. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna go Venezuela.
We're gonna go, yeah.
Take the first thing. Surprise! It's like, oh, you guys got me.
Here are the heads of 30,000 Venezuelan gold miners.
Gotta get you think how rich we're gonna be all this green dragon hide boys.
Green Dragon soup for everybody.
Yeah, it's a crazy world.
Views on Scrambled YEGs are going to be worth $1 Venezuelan dollar.
If we're lucky.
Start watching, boys.
They're gonna single-handedly just boost the Venezuelan economy back
Venezuela
up.
only has $34.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They fucking do now.
I don't even want to know.
No, they have
what
$3 billion, but it equals to 34 Scrambled YEGs plays.
Oh my goodness.
The same amount of currency.
Yeah. One view, which is like a fraction of a cent, is worth more than a Venezuelan whatever it is.
Alex and
I feel like we should just start a vote to change the Venezuelan currency to RuneScape GP. Like they just walk around with RuneScape.
Honestly, man,
GP
that's the
and
craziest
stuff.
part of this conversation is that the currency in this game,
Yeah.
in a real world sense, is
worth
worth
more.
more
Yeah.
than the currency of this country.
Yeah, it's insane. It
To
really
a point
is,
where people inside that country are farming. Like I'm
Yeah.
still trying to get over that.
It really is.
crazy.
It's super interesting, right? It's widespread, and these are just the ones that are pretty well known. Who knows what else is going on? They could be playing different games.
all kinds of more subtle, sort of underground. I guess.
Warcraft, bro. I'm
Wow,
sure there's
yeah.
Venezuelans who are playing World of
definitely,
Warcraft
yeah.
and selling stuff like online.
Definitely, yeah. It's the same
I'm
kind
sure
of
there's
concept.
Canadians do it. I'm sure there's a ton people all over
for
the world
sure.
doing it.
Yeah. Should we talk about Smash Bros?
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You know what's
before we
crazy
go on-
is like I'm like 34,
Word.
and my word nice. My friend group, like I suck at video games.
Okay.
I've always been terrible at them, but all my buddies, for as long as I can remember, fiend about Smash Bros.
Okay.
And so the fact that people are still fiending about it is crazy.
Yeah, totally. So I mean,
They're, like cool.
yeah. And I mean, one thing that doesn't hurt is that they keep making new ones, right? So
Sure.
it's like it kind of keeps people on. But like the one that I'm actually most involved in is Melee. So Super Smash Bros. Melee, which
It's
was
the best one.
It is, and it was for the Nintendo GameCube.
Okay.
And it's actually, I believe it is now 18 years old. The game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
like it's like a very enduring thing
Yeah.
in a space where like there's so much development and so much like the arc is going like this as
Yeah.
far as like what's possible and what people are producing.
Definitely.
Yet this game is maintained. It's like the
Yeah.
Simpsons of
But video games, yeah. No,
you know,
totally,
like
yeah.
the fact like 18 years is probably no nothing to like.
I have to shake a stick at
But in terms of video games,
Oh,
like
yeah.
an industry that like didn't exist, and then
Is that what to say?
I was trying to figure out another.
I was actually the same exact
Shake
thing,
a fucking controller out there.
Nothing to-
to shake the fucking joystick out there, pal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Oh, okay, sorry for interrupting.
You know what but like
Yeah.
it was from when that reference was like real
Yeah.
and used a lot to now.
Oh, yeah.
Shake a stick at. Yeah. It's still a game that people love.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and actually 64.
That's got to be rare in this space.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, there's almost nothing like Melee and 64 in
People
particular.
still
So,
play Animal Crossing?
well, yeah, but not like they just play the new one,
Oh, okay.
probably, or maybe they play the old ones, but not in the same way. I guess one of the big things is for a game to survive that long, it has to be competitive in some elements, whether it's
Sure.
speedrunners or
Sure.
because they run some super old games or if it's a competitive game like Smash Bros or whatever, they just increase the longevity if you can compete against people, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But then, 64, so it's, like Smash 64, which was obviously before Melee, also has a community. It's not as large of one, but it does have a community still. But the reason that Melee in particular has been so successful over such a large period of time, and it's actually arguably at its strongest ever with its largest viewership, and there's a new documentary that's coming out for it soon, which they're in the process of selling it. It might go on Netflix. If it does, that could be a huge boost
Wow.
to the community. Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
we're all
it would
hyped
be,
for that.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
And they actually have another documentary. So what actually originally got me into the sort of competitive scene for these games is it's just called Smash Bros. Documentary. And it's on YouTube and it's free and it's about 4 hours long.
Wow.
But what it does is it just documents one, the fact that this esport became big, and it also follows these particular players that became sort of like these pro athletes almost in the game space, and how they have these unique ways of playing and stuff. And
is that before like the esports of 2019, where it's like this huge, like we were talking about earlier, this like you could win in the millions or in the hundreds of thousands, where if, like people are sponsoring esports.
Oh yeah,
these guys are just doing it for the love of the game.
They're showing it on sports channels.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of hilarious in a certain respect, but these would be like the pioneers.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. You can see those pioneers, and you can see that that happening, and so that's really interesting. And that's kind of what got me into it. But what is something that's incredible about this game is that it was actually an accident that the majority of this is possible. So the game developers never intended on it being anywhere near the level of competition that it is. So they actually had essentially, how Nintendo functions is they want games to be family friendly, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is actually why after Melee, what came was Brawl. And Brawl, from a competitive point of view and from the Smash community and fighting games community point of view, was an absolute failure. Catastrophic failure. Mm-hmm. It is not a competitive game. And the reason is that they looked at what happened with Melee, and they went, I don't see a lot of grandmothers playing that. And so then they looked at it, and they were like, that's not really fun for the whole family.
So they looked at like what was probably a very successful...
One of the most successful GameCube games,
and they thought, ooh, wrong market.
Exactly, well, because they didn't want to get into the competitive end to risk alienating some of their possible players, right? But what essentially had happened in Melee is there was a ton. So we're talking there is now dozens of mechanics that were not intended by the developers. They have been found, so they're essentially glitches that increase the control of your character and the speed. So a simple one to understand is L canceling. So if your character does an attack in the air, when they land, depending on the move, they'll be unable to move for a little while. If it's a big attack, you get stuck for longer. But what people found out accidentally is that if you press the L or the R trigger within a certain amount of frames, and this is on a frame level, and one frame is about a 60th of a second. And so they found that if you press the L or the R trigger within X amount of frames of hitting the ground, you have half of the lag time before you can do another move. Oh. And so there's dozens of techniques like this.
Accident?
And it was an accident. It wasn't an intended mechanic. It just happened to be the way that the game had been programmed. And so L canceling wasn't supposed to be there. And there is wave dashing. There is like shield dropping, Z dropping. There's all these different mechanics that weren't. And we're talking literally dozens of these mechanics that are unbelievably intensive. And all of these different things, like you could probably imagine, obviously with the L canceling, moving out of stuff twice as quickly is huge. So then add on top of that all these other different things, and it has become what is, and as per my complexion and obviously the other things that I've said throughout the course of this, you can tell I'm a big fucking nerd. I can tell you that is it's the most competitive, most like deeply competitive and intelligently played game, and it's also the fastest. It's actually faster than StarCraft in terms of actions per minute. It's this incredible accident, and that's what it was.
The crazy thing, I watched, I can't remember if I was watching you play or if I was just watching a video of whatever it was.
Yeah.
But like, the craziest thing about it is because most of what is happening is all these like things that weren't supposed to be the game mechanics.
Yeah.
They're not doing any of the stuff that like the game teaches you.
Exactly. Yeah. None of that is.
So when you watch it, it looks nothing like you playing with your buddies because you're not like kicking and punching and hitting each other and trying to throw each other off the map.
Yeah.
They're just using shields and throwing stuff and like
crazy stuff,
moving around the map really quickly.
It's
and like
very strange.
Can I tell you what I was like as a when I tried playing like Halo for the first and only few times? I was the guy, like I picked up the controller and it's fucking my guys
like looking up
and then walking off a cliff or something.
Couldn't move and look at the same time.
And I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
And I gave up.
Yeah.
And I gave up.
Well, and that's one of the things as well is like anybody can get good at this game. Right, and that's something that's really interesting to me because I spend a lot of my time, organizing esports events and stuff like that, right? Like these video game tournaments, and in some ways, it's actually, in my opinion, a truer form of competition than a real sport. And the reason that I say that is because you know.
You gotta stop calling them real sports.
Yeah. Well, that's a start probably. Yeah.
Just keep doing it.
He's like.
There's real sports and there's esports. There's
Yeah.
a huge difference, and you all know exactly what it is.
There's our
And
sports.
golf is the line.
There's our sports and there's
Our
esports.
sports and esports.
Start calling them that.
Yeah, our sports.
Start that in the
community.
Exactly.
Fucking our sports,
man. Look at these guys. Fucking our sports players. Yeah, but there's the reason that I say that is that it for the most part removes the genetic component. So I wasn't born 6'8" with a ridiculous arm length, so I have an unbelievable disadvantage in a professional basketball career. And insert anything. If you look at the majority of the top athletes in any sport, they're genetic freaks.
Yeah,
Totally.
huge.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Whereas
They're huge and fast and like crazy.
They have different things than most of us.
yeah, and obviously they obviously work very hard as well, right? But
Totally.
it's just that base advantage, and for the most part, that doesn't exist in these sports. And as these video games are starting to become more competitive, and now we have people whose full-time job and career is playing video games, and they're practicing for 10 to 12 hours a day. A lot of them even have fitness regimens because it increases your ability to do reaction time and stuff like that. They some teams.
So they are pro athletes.
Well, that's what they are,
So
right?
race car drivers, bro. Race car
Exactly.
drivers driving a car, but like they lose so much weight in those things.
Once I found out that there's a handful of them that are like triathletes and stuff,
Yeah.
I thought like, well, why? And then I saw like the indie at like street level.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh, that's
holy shit!
Yeah.
It's different than when it's on TV.
Exactly.
I get it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, essentially, these people they need to be in a physical condition to do their job. And
Yeah, and
our sports and esports.
Our sports
baby.
and esports, but so I mean, not to hate on our sports or anything, but
Yes!
it's
gonna catch on.
It's something that isn't really represented in the same way, and as well as that, although the data's not really in on this yet, but there may not need to be segregation between sexes as well. That may be something that's not needed because of the genetic components out of it.
Well, that's
then that would be a truer form of competition again, right? Because if everybody could genuinely compete against each other,
Wow.
yeah, and then it also introduces a concept of, well, maybe I'm not the fastest player, but I'm a lot smarter than you, so I can beat you. Whereas it doesn't matter how much smarter than I am if I can't outrun
In
you
a
in a
100-meter
sport,
dash.
right? Yeah, or even in football or or basketball. Most sports, if I'm not faster than you, you'll beat me. So and then maybe you get into these unique situations where somebody that would maybe be a coach or something could be a player. And maybe they're the best player ever, right?
Yeah.
And so
especially when
it's
if you think about football in that way, the coach really is like it's two coaches playing their game plans against each other.
It's almost like a video game. Yeah, they've got their little pieces. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what coaching is. Like, I want you to do this, and then the people go out and do it, and you go,
yeah.
That's what I thought.
And then like there's just the human component of them like maybe screwing up a little
Yeah,
bit. But like that's the player.
But that probably exists in like the e-sport realm as well. where
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
it doesn't
They have
matter.
coaches, they have analysts.
but I mean, like, just even like in terms of regular gameplay, like sometimes the shot will hit the post, sometimes it'll go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have game mechanics that are like there's percentages to
of course,
every once in a while your stick breaks or whatever.
Yeah, which just makes it even more R, man.
Yeah. Even more R sporty, yeah. Totally.
You guys fucking see that? There's a game last night, yo, R or E.
I gotta get
Dude,
going.
both, man.
R sport or an e sport.
Okay, I gotta get going here. Plug your Smash Bros.
Yes. So I'm running an event. It is at West Edmonton Mall at the Comic Strip. It is called the Comic Strip presents Punching Up. That's what it's called. So it's just called Smash at the Comic Strip. The Punching Up, and January 19th is when it's going to be, 2020. So it's going to be starting off on the year. What we are doing, this is going to be the biggest one we have yet. So this is the 7th iteration of this tournament series. So so I've had 6 Smash at the Comic Strips, and they've all kind of been leading up to this. So when we first set out for this, our goal was to get to a point where we would have the entire venue for the whole day. So we've actually bumped the comedy show. There's no comedy show on this day. And we are flying in professional players. Wow. And we are also in the process of attaining sponsors. So there's going to be, I don't know exactly how much yet, right? And as well as I'm not announcing the specific players until that's absolutely set in stone, because that would be really awkward. But we're finally at the point where we're gonna have the whole day as an event. We got professional players coming in. It's gonna be really cool, and and beyond that as well. Actually, the owners of the clubs, huge shout out to them. The Bronsons, they've been fantastic the whole way, and they're actually looking. Ricky B and Tammy. They actually want, after this event, they want me to host these sorts of events at all of their clubs.
Oh man,
so,
that's amazing.
Yeah, they want this to be a thing that goes on, because I mean, they're...
Just shows you where esports is at.
Well, and something interesting as well, I had to do some research into this, into the stats and whatnot for the process of setting this event up. And what's crazy is actually esports this year has finally broken, in Canada even, where we have no infrastructure for esports. It has broken $1 billion this year, and the year's not over yet. And in terms of viewership, esports has actually passed our sports in the not just in Canada.
Our sports is gonna be
worldwide viewership for esports has passed our sports.
Yeah, the amount of coverage on like the Score and some of these other where it's like ESPN will cover esports now.
Exactly,
obviously profitable.
Yeah, and it's been the Scandinavian countries and a lot of the Asian countries have been airing esports on TV channels for years, right? It's predicted by 2020 that the revenue for esports will have surpassed our sports. At least in Canada and the United States. So yeah, it's definitely booming. It's going to keep growing. But something as well that I think will be very interesting to see is that there is not a lot of melees. There is not a lot of games the last 18 years. What happens when these massive industries start seeing Fortnite fall off and start seeing League of Legends fall off and start seeing CSGO fall off? What happens?
Because football has been football for 150 years.
And players can have a career that spans 20 or more years, and with that they slowly over the course of time build a following, and then they get their sponsorship dollars, and then it's worthwhile to be invested in
jerseys. They become like a coach or whatever.
Exactly, but so what happens if League of Legends dies and now there's a new game, but it's nothing like League of Legends?
Oh man!
What happens to that whole system?
Dude, do you think it's just gonna end up like where all these ones start falling off, and we're just gonna see video games like instead of having a million video games, it's gonna be like sports. It's like soccer, hockey, football, basketball. Like it's just gonna be like, do you play play WoW?
Yeah.
Fortnite, like this.
I think the styles of games, because we've kind of seen that where it's like FPS games, first-person shooter games. It's kind of like those skills translate, and then MOBAs, right, which is like your League of Legends stuff like that. Those skills kind of translate, not necessarily 1-to-1, but they do. Yeah. And like RTSs, which is like StarCraft. Mm-hmm. Those skills kind of translate. So maybe they'll jump the games.
Are there people who are hard like in one? Like someone's like, I play FPSs. I don't fuck with adventure games. I've never played Mario in my life. Like all I do is fucking COD and Halo.
A huge amount of these players are like that, like the professional ones. Yeah, really, because I mean, you don't.
So it's like hockey players where it's like I didn't play football. I only played hockey my whole life growing up.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, and maybe not to the same degree. Just because it's a little bit easier to just play a video game, pick that up, than go learn a sport, get involved in sports and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, like sure, guys who play hockey played a pickup basketball game in a parking lot before. Like.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're just athletes, and then in the same way, these people are kind of like electronic athletes now, right? Where they kind of dabble, like you were saying that you're sort of what you were saying before is like you kind of weren't very good at video games necessarily. I've kind of always, by product of playing all of them, been good. I can pretty much just pick up a game that I've never played before, and usually if there's not somebody who also does that, I can beat most of them. Yeah. But it's just because I played so many different games.
It didn't have a gaming system from age whatever to whatever, because my fucking parents didn't. Yeah. Look how I fucking turned out, Mom!
I'm unbelievably fortunate in that.
But that's why I'm bad at them, because I just didn't have them.
Yeah, whereas my dad
good at other stuff, like
has my whole life worked in the video game industry. So
really?
Yeah, he develops video games, and that is why I, from age 0, always have them around. Yeah. So, and here we are. But well, thanks for having me on and letting me plug my event, and
absolutely, man,
and not making fun of me.
No worries. Anytime, man.
You guys are gonna rule the world soon. I can't.
We'll have you back on after the event. We can talk about
absolutely,
100%. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. And you guys can find me at Kersey or at YEG Stand Up on Instagram.
Go to comedyaf.com for all my stuff, and follow my Instagram at AFComedian. And enjoy the rest of your lives. Later.